It's no accident that Metro Vancouver is recognized as one of the most livable regions in the world. Behind the scenes, there are 1,600 employees and 40 board members who are doing more than delivering core utilities, such as clean water, to your home. Metro Vancouver also manages air quality, regional parks, affordable housing, and urban growth. However, the stress of the COVID-19 pandemic has also exposed some areas where the region is vulnerable. Acting as both a political body and a corporate entity, Metro Vancouver is run by mayors and councillors from each of the 23 local authorities, which make up the board of directors. Today, Board Chair Sav Dhaliwal joins us. He is the chair of the Metro Vancouver Board. Welcome.
Thank you.
We live in a very different world today because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
So as the chair, what would you say is top of mind for you? What's keeping you up at night?
Top of my mind is inequity, economic recovery, and resilience. COVID has really pointed out how much disparity exists now in our region among the workers particularly, and those who reasonably are well off economically. What we experienced is 70% of the people who lost their jobs are the ones who are making less than $20 an hour. So that's a big problem. That's inequity. Other issues are economic recovery. Currently, there's so many restaurants, so many businesses, and so many households are experiencing this economic disaster that has happened. So we really focus on how to get that economy working again. And then finally, the resiliency. We know that this kind of crisis could occur again. We have to make sure that the infrastructure is resilient, our economy can withstand some of these kind of shocks, and yes, people can continue to afford where they live. So those are the kind of things now are very much a focus for us. Me as a chair and as a board and as a Metro as an entity.
When I hear you bringing up these issues, these sound like really large systemic issues.
Yes.
So what can Metro Vancouver do specifically to tackle those issues?
Our core services are the utilities, which is providing water, looking after the gray water and used water and cleaning that before we put back into the ocean, and also the solid waste. Those are the three big things for us, but we also do other things, which are providing more recreational abilities to people to use our pathways, our trails, our parks. Then we also have housing services, which provide affordable housing to Metro residents. We're going to spend an enormous amount of money over the next 10 years to create another 1,500 units to 2,000 units of housing for our citizens here, vulnerable citizens particularly. And we're going to continue to acquire more eco-sensitive areas of land which really need to be protected for future generations, in order to make sure there's enough green space, enough parks, enough walkways and trails built for people to continue to enjoy. And then we look after the environment, the clean air. So all those things are way beyond the ability of one local government to do. But collectively, we have done it well.
My understanding is that the way Metro Vancouver is governed,
Yes.
23 different local authorities.
Yeah.
It's quite unique, not only in Canada, but in the world. How do you make all of that happen in terms of the collaboration, in terms of getting all the mayors on board? I imagine that's a real challenging job.
Well, it is. Collaboration is all about, first of all, making sure that we understand each other well. As part of my preparation for what we do and what we're going to do for the region is trying to be in constant touch with our counterparts, which are the mayors and elected officials who sit on our board. So making sure that we understand each other's issues, and when they're here, they generally are more tuned to representing the region. So they're looking at a big picture. It's a testament to that collaboration that we know the services that currently Metro provides are second to none.
It sounds like you're really doing a great job of tapping into the wisdom of the collective. You mentioned how we have done well during this pandemic. At the same time, the pandemic has revealed a few weak areas and places where the region is vulnerable.
I mentioned inequity. Majority of our current population is really not enjoying the same level of quality of life, etc. So what Metro is beginning to now undertake is to make sure that we can invite some strategic investment into the region, which will bring well-paying jobs and long-lasting jobs, not just temporary gig economy type of thing, but real family-supporting jobs. In order to do that, we reached out to the most capable leaders in Metro to join us in trying to lead a team, but to address this disparity that currently exists. So we're starting with this vision, which would ultimately allow us to attract more investment that's strategic into jobs. So this board will be setting up this roadmap for us. It's called the Regional Economic Prosperity Management Board. They will be charting a path for us to follow. We have created ourselves a vision statement for that. It is collaborating to advance shared prosperity, livability, and sustainability in Canada's Pacific Gateway. Very simple. What it is to me is that it is shared prosperity when we see that the economic worth of every resident grows in sync with the GDP of the region. People are all getting better. It is when I see that First Nations of the region have a complete control of their destiny on their own terms. It's about when we see the disposable income gap is continually narrowing. It's when we know that the citizens with physical disabilities, with health challenges, addiction issues, or those who have fallen on hard times have a social safety net. That's important to them. And of course, when we think that after working 8-hour shift, that the workers should be able to have roof over their head, clothes on their back, and food on the table for the entire family. No one should have to go to work after doing 8-hour shift just to make the ends meet. So that to me is a shared prosperity.
Hearing you speak about this shared prosperity, it's very inspiring. And there would be some people out there who would say, come on, this is Metro Vancouver. It's so expensive to live here. How realistic is this vision?
That's one of the things where I think if you really look at it, what's important to people, it is things like having access to clean air, having access to safe, fresh water, food, healthcare, education, transport, as well as a safe and stable environment to raise their families and build communities. All that is part of our vision statement to make sure that we have created ourselves a roadmap to get there. And the idea to create prosperity is that when people who work here are able to live here, the affordability is a measure of that livability. If you can't afford to live here where you work, you're really not a livable region, in my view.
I know Metro Vancouver is also recognized for its commitment to sustainability.
Yes.
So maybe you can tell me more about the sustainability piece.
Sustainability is all about trying to see, yes, this is our desired level of livability, affordability, and quality of life. And yes, we're going to work to meet our need from resources that are available. So it's important for us to think of our future generation, think of your children and grandchildren and their grandchildren, to say, would they be able to live just as comfortably I was able to live? Did I leave this place better shape than we are? That's sustainability to me.
I know climate change is an important issue for you. So what's Metro Vancouver doing in terms of tackling climate change?
So what Metro has done has set ourselves a roadmap that in 10 years we will be 45% below the current levels in carbon exist. So 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our carbon neutrality for 2020 and 2019. By 2050, we will be fully carbon neutral.
In the next 5 years, there's $6 billion earmarked for projects.
Correct.
That sounds like a massive budget. Can you just give me a quick overview of what some of those major projects are?
I believe there's not too many projects going on in the province at this point that would be spending the kind of money that we're planning to spend on Iona Water Treatment Center or the North Shore Treatment Project that we're going to be building a fair amount of tunneling to make sure the water is going under the river, and a huge amount of money going into just making sure that the existing facilities are upgraded to also accommodate growth. So $6 billion is a huge amount of money in 5 years to be spent. Our staff and the board has really started a work on what we call Metro 2050, which is basically how are we going to grow, how are we going to manage this growth. When we are there, what does the region looks like? So it's important for us to really be thinking beyond just one term, but normally what the politicians do. They only think to the end of their term and then worry about later. But this is what's unique about Metro. What we do doesn't finish in one term. It starts and it takes generations and years to complete a vision. Our projects are huge. Our projects are in the billions of dollars, and it takes 4 or 5 years to plan, 4 or 5 years to make sure we got enough money, and another 4, 5, 10 years to complete it. So it's like a generation in a way, because they will be there for another 100 years. Got to be resilient, that it could withstand any of the natural calamities, et cetera, and all that, and can meet our growth. We know what's going to be approximately how many people are going to be here by 2050. So we can pretty well see that day what that looks like. So,
thank you so much. That was an inspiring talk.
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you and pleasure to speak with you, and thank you too.
I've been speaking with Sav Dhaliwal, the chair of Metro Vancouver.